G'day, Max Wright here, and welcome back, everybody. I'm sorry I've been a few days off with the Miami trip to the Bitcoin conference. Yeah, and then it all got away from me. Just started having too much fun and stopped making videos, so I apologize for that. But today will probably go down as one of the most important days in all of Bitcoin's history, as El Salvador, tiny little nation, Central America, has become the first country to accept Bitcoin as legal tender. And we're going to go into this here, what it means, what it actually means, because it can mean a lot of different things. But we'll go into what it means. But this is beyond huge. I can't believe it. I just can't believe it. I thought we were years and years away from this. And maybe it'll be taken back somehow, walked back. But as of right now, Parliament in El Salvador has passed it. The president signed off on it. I said Parliament. I think they call it Congress there. Yeah, Congress. And even on the Wikipedia page, it's already been updated. Bitcoin is legal tender in El Salvador. We're going to unpack all of that and get into a few fun things here. The channel is going to change a little bit here now, I suspect. I'll talk a little bit about that. And it'll be my catch up for the event. So a whole bunch of things. So this is just a little bit of a getting back, settled in type of video. So first of all, I had a whole bunch of emails which I haven't responded to over the last week. So sorry about that. I captured a few questions and I will go through them a little bit later. But I want to talk a little bit about Bitcoin price, because the Bitcoin price here is boring. And I suspect it's going to stay boring for a little while longer. Now, who knows, it might do something else. But I think what we're going to see, there's a real battle between the bears and the bulls. We have seen this huge move sideways. Here's some things that I'm noticing. One, the FUD doesn't really have much of an effect anymore. And I'll give you an example. Like these big red candle, like this one here, and I think this one here, both of these were like Elon Musk candles. Like he put out some negative news and it just had a really negative price down here. But over here, he did another one yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before, with a Bitcoin and a broken heart emoji, and it just had no price on the effect. So that is a sign, and I was looking for that kind of sign where all this bad news is just like, no. Like we don't care about your bad news. Like China's banning Bitcoin, all this stuff for the 700th time. No one cares, because I remember this in 2017. There'd be bad news. Oh my God, people freak out. And it's just a huge sign, and I love this. There's so many retail players in the Bitcoin world. It's mom and pops. It's you and me. It's the average Joe in Bitcoin, and they are not sophisticated investors. And quite frankly, they shit their pants every time someone on the news says something negatively about Bitcoin. It's like, go sell. And that's a frustrating thing about Bitcoin, but I am so happy and so glad that there are so many unsophisticated investors in here. It would be boring if the same old rich people got rich. Right? That's what we've had for decades and decades. And it's all insider games, and it's manipulated, and it's just, you average person, is denied access to that world. And in this world, the average person is not denied access, and it makes it fun, it makes it scarier, but it's also a great chance for wealth redistribution. And if you aren't getting your hands on this wealth redistribution, you are missing out. There is an avalanche of people coming into Bitcoin, and if you're not one of them, you are getting left behind. So warning for you, for people who are not taking action. You have to take action and get involved in Bitcoin, in my opinion. So, in 2017 and in other times, when there's this little, like a momentum of bad news, I do notice, and one of the things I look for is the decreasing impact of the bad news. And we kind of see that. This big red candle here, right? And then this smaller big red candle here. And then I don't even know which candle it was. Probably this one here. This is a sign that we are nearing a bottom. I'm not saying it's definitely not going lower than 30K, but as I've said several times over the last few weeks, I think probably we're at the end. Maybe it goes lower. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. But we are nearing the end. And when it comes back, I believe it's going to come back incredibly powerfully and strongly with a big, powerful move. I think it's worth going back. We haven't done this for a while. Let's go back and I'll do the logarithmic chart, make it a little easier. I'm going to get my eyes used to this. Oh, it's not going to work on this chart. I fall for this every time. Let me go to BLX. I'm going back and looking at 2013, right? And looking at that period. So I'll even do this on a weekly. Let's speed this up. Okay. This move in here, this is the 2013 bull run. And you can see there's a rocket up to like April of 2013. And then in the middle of that year, the price crashes 85 or 89% from memory. 89 or 85%, something like this. But before the year ended, so that's from, I think it's about here-ish. That's November, yeah. So from there to there, within that 1 year, and even despite the fact it suffered an 85% correction in the middle, the price of Bitcoin went up 100x, right? 10,000% return in 1 year. In the same year that it went down 85%, right? Now, this is not, there are reasons why. There are reasons why you get the big crashes around the time of the big pushes. Because it's just the retail investors. They're FOMOing in so hard and they chase that price higher and higher and higher until eventually they are exhausted. And then on the way back down, they are terrified and they leave. And so I think probably we're done. Maybe we are not. But if not, we're already down 50%. We're nearing the end. Now, here's what the next thing I think is really important to know. This is why I think the price of Bitcoin might be boring for a little while. And we can see here that the price went up to 260 in April, crashed down here to what? We were down at like 50 bucks still in April. These are weekly candles. And we didn't really get up even like, so how many? By October, by the 28th of October, we still hadn't got to, we're only at 140 bucks, right? Remember, it's 260 back here. We're at, by October, we're 240. But by the end of the year, we're at $1,200. Just an absolute explosion. And this is all just gathering steam for this explosion. Maybe it takes us all the way through to October before we see the explosion. I suspect it'll happen a little faster than that, but maybe not much. But I think we're going to see this. I suspect the summer might be a little bit boring. So I'm probably not going to be doing a whole bunch of videos on TA and whatever else because it's just boring making money in those times. I will let you know if ever I do a big trade and I feel like we're coming in. I'll tell you what I'm looking for. I need to see it go above 42,000. I think that's going to be the really, pardon me, powerful move. If we go to a leg down, I might reset that. It'll probably be this level. It might be like the $30,000 level or $33,000 level, something like that. If we leg down into the 20s. But if we don't leg down, I need to see it go above 42, and then I'll be like, okay, we are getting ready for a big push into we are starting our race towards that 100K and beyond. But I think it is going to be an absolutely legendary end of year, and it could even push late into 2022. So that's my thoughts on that. I'm probably not going to be doing a whole bunch of TA in the near future with videos because I just suspect it's going to be boring. If the charts get interesting, I'll come back to it. But I'm going to be doing more news, philosophy, the romantic side of Bitcoin I mentioned in a video a little while back. And I think I'm going to be organizing a lot more videos. So I did make a whole bunch of contacts while I was in Miami. And hopefully from that, we'll get a whole bunch of really interesting interviews talking about the space at large. It's going to be a really, really fun time. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. It's going to be really, really fun. All right, let's get into a little bit of the news here. What's on this one? We'll come back to that one. So here's the big one. El Salvador becomes the first country to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender after passing the law. So it was a beast here. Are we going to see it? No, it was somewhere else. But it was basically passed by a supermajority of El Salvador's Congress, I think they call it. And it was put forward by the president, so he's on board. And this is official law in El Salvador now. And here is the takeaway. Afterwards, the El Salvadorian president gave a speech. And here's the summary of his speech. Here's what I want you to know. The government will create a Bitcoin wallet and it will be deployed by Jack Miller's strike team. Mauler, I beg your pardon. Jack Mauler, for those of you who do not know, he is he's just a humble Bitcoiner who is working with the Lightning Network. Now that's a whole other topic, and I've got to get more into that on this channel for you guys to understand it. But at present, Bitcoin has high fees, and kind of the old way. I shouldn't say at present because Lightning Network is here. The Lightning Network basically allows orders of magnitude more transactions per second, faster clearance on the Bitcoin network, on a layer 2 solution Bitcoin network, and much, much lower fees. So it brings the fees almost down to zero. So it's back to what Bitcoin was like in 2013. It just happens easily, it's free, you don't have to pay fees, and it's super cool. Okay, that's the Lightning Network in a nutshell. Now, Jack Mauler has been building, he actually went down to El Salvador. So his team built a really cool wallet on the Lightning Network and just realized it just made it all work so Bitcoin could work back like it used to work in 2013 and the way we've all wanted it to work the whole time. He then said, okay, but now it's different, right? There's all these altcoins, everyone wants to do everything, and it's just a big shit show, the whole cryptocurrency space. So he has largely gone under the radar. I've known about him. I don't think we've done an interview with him on this channel, but yeah, I've been following him and I know what he's been doing. So about 3 months ago, he went down, like, where are we going to launch this? Like, okay, should we go to Europe? Should we go to Thingo? And that's what everyone does. Like, they go to like some big marketplace and he's like, screw that. Where people want this, where people need this, where they're craving it, is countries like El Salvador. El Salvador, 25% of their GDP is remittance. Money just sent from USA and other countries to family members living in El Salvador. And it's an absolute shit show to get. You got to go through Western Union. The fees are something in the order of like 10 to 25%. You've got to hop on a bus and travel for an hour to get to this Western Union remittance store. And then you're 50-50 of getting robbed out the front of Western Union by a gang. Right? It's an absolute mess. And it's just holding back the wonderful people of El Salvador by a lot. Jack Mauler, like an absolute champion, said, I've got the technology to fix this, Bitcoin, and now this wallet I've produced. I'm just going to go down there and make it happen. So 3 months ago, he moved to El Salvador. He lived in El Salvador for the last 3 months, and he set about creating a test case community. And he did exactly that. And for the last 3 months, he educated the entire community on Bitcoin. He got everyone up to speed. He had all those people there tell their family members back in America. It's like, just sign up to Coinbase, sign up to Kraken. If you want to do remittance, just buy Bitcoin and send it to us, because in this community, we all buy our groceries. We do everything with Bitcoin via the Lightning app that Jack Mauler created, right? This got the attention of the El Salvadorian president, and he reached out. I'm not sure who reached out to who, but Jack Mauler, not sure, worked with the president in kind of secret up until a few days ago. And the president said, this is wonderful. This is what our people need. Like, the majority of people in El Salvador are unbanked. They do not have a bank account. They're suffering under this remittance issue with Western Union and the gangs and everything else. He says, let's help me write the laws for how El Salvador can adopt Bitcoin and make it legal tender. And so the laws were actually written by Jack. I'm sure he had some legal help and then there was a team involved and whatever else, but Jack was instrumental in getting those laws written. So these are legal tender laws written by a fanatical Bitcoiner, right? And they just got passed in El Salvadorian Congress. So here's the highlights of this. So the government's going to help build the wallet specific for El Salvador. However, in true open source and Bitcoin mentality, the people are free to use any wallet they want. But Jack's going to say, here's one that's specifically designed for you. But if you want to go and create another one, use another one, you're absolutely welcome to. You don't have to use it. Accepting Bitcoin is going to be a mandate for all merchants, meaning every single store, every single grocery, every single everything has to accept Bitcoin as payment within 90 days. 90 days from now, you have to be able to pay in Bitcoin. Okay, merchants cannot refuse Bitcoin. This is just mind-blowing stuff, guys. US dollar will remain the exclusive unit of account for the corporate balance sheets. And in calculating taxes and everything else, they will use US dollars. However, taxes can be paid in Bitcoin. The government itself is going to be accepting Bitcoin. Commercial contracts can be settled in Bitcoin where previously denominated in USD. So every single free market contract that parties A and B have said, if they were going to settle in Bitcoin, in dollars, you can now, that instantaneous upgrade for all contracts, it can be settled in Bitcoin should those participants choose. And I'm not sure if one participant, I think it's basically if the payer wants to pay in Bitcoin, the receiver has to accept it. Okay? The government is putting up $150 million trust fund to remove BTC exchange risk to small merchants. It's opt-in only. So merchants may choose, they have to accept Bitcoin. There will be a government trust fund set up and they will maintain that thing. If the merchants choose to liquidate their Bitcoin and go straight back to US dollars, the merchants are free to do so. It's an opt-in system only. The merchants can go straight back into US dollars. By the way, the national currency prior to this, and still is US dollars. The local unit of account, local unit currency collapsed, I think, about 2001. So at present, they use US dollars, which, by the way, is a huge cause of poverty cycle. So the US is causing massive inflation with printing US dollars, right? The value of the dollar goes down. Other countries who are using it, because they're so, it's just riddled throughout South and Central America. They're corrupt, they're broken, they constantly destroy their own currencies. So, using the US dollar is probably better than their previous alternatives until Bitcoin. But what happens is, like, these countries go into debt and they borrow money, and then the US dollar gets strong, but their country didn't get strong, and so now they just can't pay it back, and it's hopeless, and it's a cycle of poverty that is just crippling all of Central America, South America, Africa. It's just happening en masse. Right? And this is part of the problem they're trying to solve. That's not that important. Here's a fun fact. Permanent residency to anybody who invests 3 Bitcoin in El Salvador. So for a mere $90,000 now, you can, if you invest $90,000 in Bitcoin in El Salvador industry, buying land probably counts, I imagine. You have permanent residency available to you. Anyone in the world can now have a second residency in El Salvador. Nice for Bitcoiners. Cool, huh? Government will build out internet infrastructure to promote connectivity to Bitcoin. Great. Not worried about international finance sector response because this is an opportunity for everybody. It will reduce remittance commissions from 30% to almost zero. Plus the creation of jobs. I hate the creation of jobs things. It's like when governments create jobs, there's no such thing. But anyway, so that's cool. Every shit idea government has, no matter how bad it is, creates jobs. So it's not a good argument. However, but this part is very important. Commissions from 30% to almost zero. It will reduce the problem for US at the border because of more opportunities in El Salvador for people. Yes, it will. The president acknowledges they've got to do a lot of explaining and campaigning, and you can read that as educating. But what's going to happen here is because so many people in El Salvador are going to reach out to their family members in first world countries, mostly in the US, who send remittance down and say, we don't want the dollars anymore. Send the Bitcoin. Sign up for a Coinbase account, sign up for a Kraken account, sign up for an American exchange. You're there, get it. And then just send us the Bitcoin because we don't want to go to Western Union, pay 30% and get robbed 100% when we leave. All right, so just send us the Bitcoin. It's much safer for us. A lot of inequality comes from central banking systems. Hell yes. That statement cannot be underestimated. Central banks are the primary cause of wealth inequality on the planet. Hands down, by orders of magnitude, nothing else comes close. Yes, this is true. This is not something for rich people only. Bitcoin is for everybody, 100% true. You don't have to be able to afford a whole Bitcoin. You can buy less than a penny's worth of a Bitcoin if you choose. Everybody pays the price of their money being diluted through the central banking system, yes. Bitcoin solves a lot of things. It certainly does. If we can change our future, other countries will follow. Absolutely they will. The first one, we saw this with corporations. So MicroStrategy gets into Bitcoin in a big way. We see Tesla jump in. We see just companies all over the world jump in. Already we have seen, so it's only happened 24 hours ago, we have had the president of Tonga to say that he's already been talking to Jack about this. We've had senior officials in Brazil, and we've had senior officials in Colombia. Within 24 hours, 3 other countries have come forward. And by the Brazil is a monster economy. We've had 3 other countries step forward and say, we're chatting about the same thing, right? So this is coming, and it has blown my mind how fast it's coming. I thought this is like a week away, years away. Okay, the government is mining Bitcoin. It's not thinking about it, but we can do things to promote it. So the government, so in El Salvador, there's a lot of geothermal energy. Apparently there's some volcanoes there or something, and already Twitter's lighting up, and the government's already talking about using some of that geothermal energy to be mining Bitcoin. And so, just so you know, this is maybe not actually. So this is going to turn into a massive video if I talk about this. But what the hell, I will, as long as I've got time to. Yeah, I do. So, huge announcement at Bitcoin Miami conference regarding this whole issue of the what's it called, the Elon Musk tweet about Bitcoin being bad for the environment. Okay, let's eliminate real fast with some bullet points. One, compared to what? So, what does it, I'm sure he's not suggesting we go back to the Stone Age and have no money. You have to have compared to the existing financial structure. So you think about banks, these physical stores that the employees and every customer drives to every single day. You talk about the footprint of the existing system, you're talking about a significantly worse carbon footprint and all that kind of stuff compared to this. Holding Bitcoin, it's like, why are we even discussing it? Like, I love Dan Held's thing. He's like, so do you watch the Kardashians or some other token? Yeah, he's like, yeah, okay, what's the footprint of that? Yeah, was that show made using renewable energy sources? We don't know. We don't hold anything to this standard. And Dan correctly points out this is a whole bullshit argument. People who don't like Bitcoin, don't understand its value, thinks they're just wasting energy for no value. Yeah, well, I think that about watching Kardashians. But that's not how we do things in society, right? I don't see value in what you do. You don't see value in what I do. But you don't get to say that you get to use a lot of energy. There's a lot of people using energy. There's a lot of people doing it. And so there's no need to. That was step 1. Step 2, it's born of ignorance because people think the number of transactions that the Bitcoin network can sustain is proportional to the amount of energy used. It's not. They're unproportional. There's not. The Bitcoin network and the amount of transactions it can do can go up and down with the Lightning significantly up and down, and you don't have to spend any more energy on mining, right? They're not related. And I understand it's an understandable misconception, but it's not true. So Bitcoin can scale to 1,000 times more transactions than it currently has without spending any more energy. 10,000, 100,000, it just doesn't matter. They're not related, okay? So that's a very important fact. Okay, here's the thing I wanted to talk about Bitcoin. It looks like Bitcoin is going to bring on renewable energy at an extreme rate of knots, many, many years faster than it would have otherwise been done. Here's why. So, throughout the day, throughout the month, throughout the years, energy use goes up and down, up and down, up and down. Like it just changes. Daily, there's just ebbs and flows in how much power society needs to produce to fund all their air conditionings and everything else, right? And it goes up and down. Already, without any government involvement, without any subsidies, without any annoyance and interference from government, renewable energy is now more cost efficient than old technologies, coal, everything. Nuclear is included in renewable energy, by the way. But solar, wind, all that is actually better. When it's producing power, it's better than the other sources, right? So you don't need any government intervention to get people to use renewable. To save money, they want to do it. Here's the catch. When you invest money in coal, you can leave your coal plant on 24/7. And all of that money invested is earning money for you 24/7, 365. With renewables, so with the old things, with coal, you put more coal in, you put less coal in, you can change how much energy you produce to meet the demands of the day, right? With renewables, when, as I said, there's up and down. It only makes sense to buy renewables up to here because renewables are more expensive. Once you go up here, you can't store the energy. It's like, okay, sun, let's turn the sun off, or let's save this energy in big batteries, and we'll still continue to use the technology. It doesn't work that way. You just turn the technology off, right? And it's that makes renewable energy unattractive, right? When the sun's out and when whatever with regards to solar, or when the wind's blowing with regards to that, you don't control it. It has no correlation to when people want to use it and when the energy is created. And so it's renewables good up to a base level, but then it fails up here, and there is no ROI because you've got to buy all the infrastructure, but you don't get to use it the way you want it, whereas you do with coal. Okay, that's the problem with the industry. Kathy Wood of ARC has come out and they've done some research, and they're saying, well, what if instead of turning the energy off when the sun's out because you can't store it in batteries, what if you now use that energy that was going to go to waste? What if you use it to mine Bitcoin? And now that you solve the problem, because all the money you invested in the wind turbines and the solar panels, now every time the sun's out, you're making money. You're either selling the electricity to customers or you're mining Bitcoin, but it's never going to waste. And you don't have to try and solve the problem with batteries, and that never happens. So all of a sudden, the economics of renewable energies massively improves. And what happens is it's worth investing in renewables now because you are getting full use of that sun and full use of that wind, right? And the thesis that Kathy Wood of ARC has put forth is that this is going to massively accelerate renewable energies. They've put their money where their mouth is. They've put up $5 million and have partnered with renewable energy source companies. And what they've done, they're going to actually do this as a test case over the next 6 months and actually report back publicly what the findings are, so the whole planet can see, does this work? And then all of a sudden it becomes an effortless decision maker for every energy producer on the planet to go, oh, now it makes sense. We can just invest more in renewables and also mining equipment, and it just makes, we're going to make more money delivering renewable energy. So who knew Bitcoin was going to solve this problem of renewable energy and climate change? It's solved, the other biggest problem in the world, and it solved this problem too, whether you believe in it or not. Either way, I'm happy. So it's satisfying these pains in the asses. So this is all going to happen very, very quickly. So a little bit of a deviation there, but it's that whole thing about energy is complete nonsense. It's good that it's been around forever, this argument, but it's going to disappear very, very quickly. Don't worry about it. Not that interesting. A lot of people will attack this because they support other ideas. Yes, this is back to the president, by the way. Bitcoin is proving it carries benefits for the common folk. Yes, we are inspired by the project at Bitcoin Beach and the work Jack Mallers has been doing in El Salvador. That's that 3-month project I've been talking to you about. So that was the highlights of the speech by the El Salvadorian president. I'm not even going to attempt that name. Really, this is one of the most important days in Bitcoin's history. It really is. Other countries will follow, and maybe this gets walked back. Who knows? It wouldn't surprise me if CIA assassinates these guys. Like, what are you, president of El Salvador, telling me you're not going to use your currency? Unacceptable. That wouldn't bother me at all. Sorry, it would bother me. It wouldn't surprise me. So maybe this gets walked back, and maybe it takes another 5 to 10 years. I don't know the answer to that. But this is a huge, huge day for Bitcoin. Please do not underestimate it. What do we got here? Oh, other huge news. So Michael Saylor has announced, hey, they're going to buy another $500 million worth of Bitcoin. He's seen the price down here in the 30s, and he's just like, snap it up. So what they were doing was basically every month, MicroStrategy made about $10 to $15 million in net profit, and they were just buying $10 to $15 million in Bitcoin. They've thought that it's going to take so long and the price is going to go up so much over time, why don't we borrow $500 million, use the $10 to $15 million to just pay the interest on that loan and go and buy $500 million today at the bargain basement price of $30 per Bitcoin. That's what they've done, announced. And so they haven't bought the Bitcoin yet, just so you know. They're in the middle of raising the capital right now as we speak. What else are we doing here? Oh yeah, just end the day on a little fun one. So Peter Schiff, so he pulls out his chart and blah, blah, blah. An objective look at the Bitcoin chart says the price is going way, way down, all the way down to these yellow lines down here, 20,000, 15,000, whatever. And this is one of the senior officials of Colombia talking about Bitcoin. He says, short it or stop talking, Peter. I was like, dude, you've been banging on since Bitcoin was $500, that it's going to zero. Like, stop it. You're losing. Just short it or shut up, because this commentary every single day by someone who's not willing to play the game and put their money where their mouth is and short it when you've been telling us it's going down forever is boring everybody. So it was a solid burn there by a senior official in Colombia. I really, really liked it. So, okay, long video there. But yeah, so it's a really, really good day. And by the way, I have to give a shout out. I'm really glad I remembered this. I met a whole bunch of really fun people in Miami, including some fun firefighters out of Los Angeles. I wanted to give them a shout out to them. And there were lots more people, but I remember specifically giving them a shout out. So boys, I did remember you. Hopefully you watched all the way to the end of this video to get this, to get that shout out. And yeah, I'm going to speak to you all soon. I will do a Q&A from members, by the way, in the next day or two. So if you're a member, I'm going to get those, I'll do a Q&A for you. And yeah, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care.